So I'm going to go through some exercises to work on your flexibility of your lower back. Now, keeping the body nice and mobile is really important. So we do want to work on our muscle strength. We definitely want to work on our control of our movement. But we want to work on being flexible as well, because if we're flexible and strong, then we're much better able to cope with all those everyday activities that we want to do. So we're going to come down onto the mat. And we're going to start on our back. So if you come down over onto your back, just bend the knees up. And as always, first exercise I like to do is just rocking the pelvis. And this is a really nice exercise in itself, just to get the lower back moving. So if you have your feet about hip distance apart, so your heels are lined up with your sitting bones, and if you're not sure where that is, if you bring your knees and feet together, fan them into a V, and then keep the toes down with the heels, and then pop the heels down. That's it's almost like lining train tracks. That gets you into a good position. Then I want you to just pop your hands just on your lower tummy, and we're going to do a little pelvic tilt. So I want you to imagine that you're rocking your back into the mat, and you're curling your tailbone towards the ceiling, and then you're just going to come back to that neutral position. So you're breathing out, curling the tailbone up, and breathing in and just coming back to that neutral position. And I think this is just a nice one, just to start to take your focus on your movement, just to slow the breathing down and just to loosen off the lower back. So as you're doing it, sometimes I just close my eyes, just rock gently backwards and forwards. And then I want you to come to rest so that you're not pushing your back into the mat, but you're not arching off. You can't get your hand under your back. You've got that neutral position. And if you place your hands on your tummy, you should feel quite level. Okay. Next is the ribs. The ribs tend to want to push up towards the ceiling. So I tend to get everyone to take a nice deep breath in, and on your breath out, just think about relaxing the rib cage. So it sort of just comes down a little bit onto the mat. And then we want to widen the collarbones and lengthen the neck. So the first exercise we're going to do is our hip twist, and I really love this. Is one of my favourite exercises. So we're going to bring the knees and feet together, hands out into a little V shape, so they're just off the mat, and then we keep the knees and feet together as we roll to one side. Now the shoulder blades stay on the mat, so we're not lifting the shoulder blades off, and we're not forcing the movement. We're just gently rotating to one side. I think I've given myself enough room here. If I a little bit. That's better. And then to the other. So what we want to watch is that as we come back, we're not arched off the mat. We want to be in our neutral spine position. So almost as we come back, we want to think about the ribs starting to come back first, the waist, the pelvis, and then the knees. We breathe out to move away, and we breathe in to come back. Now you can hold that if it's comfortable. So you go as far as you can and hold it there for a breath in. And then breathe out to come back to centre. But again, you don't ever want to force these movements. You just want to go within your comfortable range. And then come back. Fantastic. Okay, so that is the first exercise. That's our hip twist. Okay, we're going to change position for the next exercise. So I want you to roll over onto your side and come over onto your hands and knees. Okay, so thinking about having your knees nice and wide apart, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and you want to try and make sure you've got some weight into the arms. If you take all the weight into your legs, and you can always lift your arms up, then you're going to struggle with this exercise. So you need to have some of the weight forward into your arms. Okay, so we want to start off level. So we want to draw the shoulder blades gently down towards the spine. Tailbone points straight back to the wall behind you, so we're not rounding the back or arching the back. And then from here, I want you to imagine that you're trying to scoop your tummy away from the mat, tuck your tailbone underneath, round the lower back and come into your cat stretch. So the movement starts at your pelvis and lower back, and then the movement when you come back comes from your pelvis, lower back, and then your upper back. So what we don't want to do is just push up into the upper back, okay? So start with the tailbone, we tuck under, scoop the tummy, round the lower back, and think of that wave of movement that comes up into the middle of the spine. Hold it at the top as you take your breath in. And breathe out to come back to that neutral position. And again, so we tuck the tailbone under, scoop. Try and make that sort of C shape with the lower back. Hold it at the top as you take a breath in. And then we come back to neutral. Fantastic. Let's do one last one. Holding it up the top. And then gently come back. Fantastic. From here, I'm going to get you just as if you can sit back onto your heels and just stretch the arms out. Now, if you can relax the head onto your mat, or you could just come into this position if that's easier. But you're trying not to round your upper back. You're trying to almost flatten the upper back a little bit. And a few breaths in and out. And then come back up. Lovely. So those are just a couple of exercises that you can do just to keep your lower back nice and mobile. So we've got the pelvic tilt to start off with, which is a really nice exercise just to get your back moving, to relax you a little bit, and also have that awareness of your position. The second one was our hip twists, where we were doing that rotation to mobilize the joints in the lower part of the back. And the last one is our cat stretch, which again is just getting a little bit of a stretch through the spine, just to keep everything mobile. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon.